Hi guys, I'm sorry for the delay here. I was talking to myself. I didn't press the go live in the YouTube things. I'm still learning. I've been doing so many lives, but I didn't press the go live. So welcome to anybody that joined here, and big thank you first. I mean, you guys are awesome. And so today, what we're going to talk about is the thing I was talking to myself. What we're going to talk about the Rust web app. And I need to update a little bit this picture, but it's pretty close. Yes, we have the web server, which is this guy, and then we have the libraries that we're reusing. Yeah. So this is the core, the RPC, the OS, the utils, and actually there's a new one now, the web, because we might have different servers. So the goal of the Rust web apps here, and I'm going to work quite a bit on it this year, is the goal is to be a production web application blueprint, such as we can do production application with it. When you do production application in the cloud, you do not have I'm sorry, I'm reading the comment here. Say, what did you miss? Sometimes I create my lives I start them with OBS, and then I thought sometimes it started automatically, and sometimes I don't know why I have to press the go live button. So there's something I don't know when I need to press the go live, but sometimes I don't need it. So it's something I need to get used to it. So it was my mistake. I need to understand when I need to press the go live or not. So anyway, so bottom line is this session is about the Rust web app production. Sometime I'm going to do polls. If you guys want to talk about something else, I'm more than happy. I did quite a bit of live sessions about Rust SQLite, and I put them, they end up all for you guys. So you guys have like many live sessions now, and they stay a little bit public, and then they go early access member for a couple of days, and for you guys forever. So this is going to be the one. Hey, Daviso. And so today here, I think the polls were saying, let's talk about, actually I didn't check like just before, but I think the poll yesterday was, so make sure you follow the polls because that is the way I know what you want, guys. And yeah, there were 3 votes and everybody wanted to continue the multi-org. So that is what we're going to continue. If you have questions about the RPC, we can handle that as well. And we're going to continue the multi-org, which I want to add anyway. And last time we did some early work, the way I like to do is very iterative. So someone was saying, hey, I've noticed that your org, if you put a password, we'll talk about it. You can break the URL and stuff. It will fail. It's not breaking security, but it's true because in my head, I'm still building up the right model. So there's a whole trade-off here of how Axum we want to be, but how our model we want to be. So that is a balance we need to find out. So again, the goal of the Rust web app is to be able to do a web application server, but it's not to do one server. Because in a way, if you just do one little server and you just deploy one guy and stuff, you might not even need to have subcrate. I will use subcrate anyway, but you might not need. But the goal here is really what we want is to work on these things here, which is more what I will say in production. When you go to cloud, you want to build for multi-service first, which is you want to think about how you are going to deploy the things. I'm sorry, I was probably a little bit far here. How you want to deploy the services in the cloud. And the goals, the things that I was explaining before, is to say when you develop, you want to develop as close as possible to what is your production. And this is where Kubernetes is heaven, because it allows us to run it on the client, and then we can have whatever we want architecture here. And the database, you put it as a pod, the cloud storage, sorry, I'm looking at the cloud storage, we're using Minio, which is a good mock of S3. And so you can mock quite a bit inside your local development, and you can do all the local development. But today here, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on this guy, which is going to be our one server. But the goal is we'll be able eventually to do the multi-server. So that is this strategy a little bit that we're going to do. Okay, so hope that makes sense. And so what we did last time is we did this multi-org business. And the way I'm doing multi-org, let me explain it. I like to do it like this way. This multiple way of doing org. So first, org is a very special, org or tenant or whatever you want to call it, is a very special, is the most important key of your application. Because the last thing you want is to have information leaking from one org to another org. Having someone logging in somewhere and then it kind of fails and then it goes the other one. So that is the thing that you want to avoid. There's many strategies where you can avoid it. The things that I've found it works very well is you don't want, once the user is logged in and is inside an org, you want to segregate all these orgs. So the strategy of the multi-org is to have these things, which is now, it's funny, I have an idea here, is when it's an org API, where you say, for example, list projects, or in this case, create agents, or list projects, or these kind of things. When you do these kind of things, you want them always to be by org, because you don't create something, out of nowhere. You do not want the org ID here. Because that means that now the API can do org ID and then what's happening? You're going to check somewhere that this guy has a right to this org ID, but if they are, so you don't want that. What you want is when you authenticate, then you select your org, make sure that it has access to the org, because if it doesn't have access, it should fail. But then after, all of the API will be org namespace. There's a strong benefit about doing that as well. And so that in production is awesome. Because now that we have the org in the namespace, sometimes when you do an application, you have big clients. When you have big clients, you might have one much bigger than the other ones, or one that complain more than the other ones. And when you are small, you don't have 100 servers, you want to be cost optimized. The one that that complain or has more need or whatever, because you have it in the URL, you can actually, in Kubernetes, without changing one line of code, you can say, oh, this URL map will map to the same server, but to a different deployment, to a different service and different deployment. And it will be the same image. So it will be exactly the same thing. It has no difference. But now this one can have 3 servers or 3 pods on the backend. And then the other guys can share all one pod. So that is a way here that you can do, because you will set that in your application load balancer to say this one will go to this deployment. So it will take all of this stuff. And then the other guys with a star, it will go through the common pool. So that gives you so much flexibility. Now, we don't want to abuse that for everything, but for orgs, it makes a big difference. There's one thing also that I'm using this strategy here of things is I use API for the public API, the things that I would give to end users. So in this application, sample application, the two are one. Often, and I might do that for this app, I also have to say, oh, API is for the public, but then I have for the web UI, I still have the same pattern, but I have a W. And that is a web API. So this way, I can have the web API going at its own rhythm, because I don't need, sometimes I might add something in the web backend for my mobile. I mean, it could be mobile API, but that is a private API. Yeah? So that is a private API. And well, sorry, it's not private as VPC API, but it's private as is the one that it's for my own UI, mobile or web. For me, I don't make a distinction. And so this is why I do web UI. And then the public one are APIs like that. So this is a little bit the scheme that I have that works pretty well. And then if you want to reuse the public in your things, I still name scope it like that. And I can have public RPC. I mean, like web RPC, which is only the one that is for the web that nobody see. And then I will map RPC to the public API. So this way, I can still have the public APIs that are mapped the same. A little bit confusing the way I'm explaining, but it's very powerful, this. Because then I can map my things the way I want it. Yeah. So when I do the web API, and this is important because sometimes you have your API users that can create a mess for the web users. So this way, you can scope this one, and if there's an API that go crazy, then it's its problem. It's not the problem of the web user. So that is a nice way here to do this kind of strategy. But right now, we're going to simplify it. We have the org ID, the way that we have done it. So now we have the org ID as a parameter, as a path. And everything is working. So if I run the app, so I go to the README, and right now is nx.org. I didn't push it, I think. But you know what? I'm going to push it at the end of the day. When I do the NX branch, it means that it's not production yet. So I have this strategy that the main branch is what has been deployed. The dev branch is the one just after. It's what is going to be deployed. Still conservative. And then the things that we're not sure, I create NX dash branch, whatever. And I make sure that I rebase them with dev regularly. And then when I'm happy and I'm very confident that it can be shipped in the next train, I merge it with dev. And then I do all the testing with dev and everything. So that is the strategy that I have here as a branch level. I will have a diagram at some point to show this strategy, which is pretty important. Make sure to ask questions here. Yeah. This is, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah. So bottom line is, we're going to the README again. This is all the things, and I'm going to do that. Yeah? And the way that I always have them is I've installed all the Olama here, DeepSeek and stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. And then I do a Docker run. Okay, looks good. Database is ready. So this one is good. And usually I put this one somewhere that I can forget. I don't need it. This is not part of my terminal stuff. Now, what I'm going to do there is, we talked about it last time. We have this guy, which is to start the server in a watch mode. I could do a cargo a beacon here, but I have my cargo watch running, so I'm going to run that. Cargo watch. Oh, this is annoying. This is the same thing that we had last time. I have something somewhere. So this is all my notes that I have. Organizing by staff, and so I'm all VS Code driven in many ways. And I don't put secret there. I just put, things. My secret is on 1Password. And I need to do this. This is a web server. It's the same I have anyway. This is one thing because I don't know how to reproduce it, but every time so now this is good, and I should be able to do that. Now I have my server running and stuff. And now I can do my quick dev, yeah? So this is where I'm at. One thing I want to move to, oops, sorry, I have the things on your chat here. one thing I want to do at some point is I want to move this quick dev, which is kind of a quick hack, to test. I don't know yet if I want to have unit test or integration test. This is a whole thing. But I would like to have a smaller test, but I need to put some support and infrastructure. I want to do it well. So right now I'm using that in a way for almost my test. I have my server there, and I'm going to do a cargo watch there. The problem is I don't know what is, I don't know if I can remove. Can I rename this? Oh yeah. That is quick dev. And that is the server. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So everything works here usually when you do things here. So everything works nicely now. And the way it works nicely is because what we have done last time is, well, actually this one. Okay, sorry guys. VS Code, some settings, tabs. This is I'm changing a little bit my strategy here of when I do live development. So this one, I'm going to pin it here. That's my quick dev. I just pin it, stuff. And then the way that we have done it last time was in our server. So the libweb is the thing that is shared from my web. And that is where I put my routing, my routes. And we have the APIs. And remember what we did with, so I didn't want to break the old one, and we did a new one. So what we did in the previous one, and there was some warm-up kind of time, is I created the /API. The way that I bound the routes RPC before was, if you go and look at the RPC guy, this guy, it just binds itself to /RPC. So it doesn't know where it is, okay? And then on my main, I say, hey, you, routes RPC, you are below API. So that is what the nest is for. The trick of that is that what we want is to have a wildcard kind of business. We want something like that. Yes, or we want org, something like that. But sometimes we might have orgs as well, which would be another one, yeah? The problem here with, so could be something, but the name doesn't really matter, I think, because you don't do it by name after, it's by order. But we'll say we could do orgs ID, for example. Okay. And then we'll have the RPC, something like that. The problem of this approach here is that Axum doesn't support it. And when I say it doesn't support it, it doesn't mean that they are not smart to support it. I think they are not supporting it for a good reason, because then, it will be confusing, or it might be hard for them. I'm sure there's a very good reason why they don't support that. So bottom line is, that's why I created another one here, RAS2, and I didn't want to break this one. This is why this NX org is more, sorry about that, is more about the, this NX org is more about work in progress in a way. I'm not fully finished about how to do it, but I'm showing you how I think when I do production stuff. So I don't want to break that. And I did another one, and we did another route, and I copy paste, did the ugly stuff. And then I say, hey, in this one, we need to have that. That is a way we're capturing the things. So now you can do org, RPC, and stuff. And actually, that should work pretty well. So, and then I go to my RPC handlers. And then in my RPC handler, oh no, I'm sorry. Yes, I go to my RPC handler. Now, the thing which is important to note here, I don't know what I changed. I changed something? Nothing. So that restarted the server, but I didn't change anything. Oh, sorry, another one. Git. Need to make sure that my Git is enabled. Otherwise it gets tricky. And so what did I do here? What did I change on main? Okay, I changed that. I don't want to change that. So that's why it's important to do commits. So I don't know this why those guys become yellow eventually, but we're going to let them like that. So the thing I'm saying is that this is when now we have to do in the routes having the full name, which is okay. And in fact, we're going to call this guy, we're going to have the routes RPC, and we're going to call it, actually, let's do that. That's cool. So we're going to have API org routes. This is actually I look at. So the other one will be deprecated. This is nice. Now I have another thing. In my head here, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Then we're going to have the pub fn API orgs routes. So that will be the multi-org, because you still need to have multi-org, because you have two kinds of multi-tenant. You have the tenant where a user can belong only to one org. In this case, that's it. And then you have the other one where you say, well, I want to allow a user to belong to multiple orgs. Typically, you want that. The first one is very strict and it can get very tricky. So typically, you want that mode where you have this org business. Yeah. So that is the thing here that we're doing. And so later, I'm going to have something like that, which will allow me to have the multi-orgs. But the multi-orgs is going to be like, for example, an API that say list orgs. So orgs list. So that will list all the orgs by name of what I have, such as I can have the little thing on the UI, for example. Another API could be list orgs notification, list orgs notifications with a S, such as you can get all the number of notifications by org, such as you can have the little icon. So you try to make them as the cross-org API, you try to make them as little as possible. Sorry, there were a truck here, a big truck going. And then, so that I will have that, and that will be another set of orgs that will be just RPCs that will be just those kind of functions, such as I can secure everything very strongly. That will be the design. So right now here we did that, and so we capture. And so what we did is the way that we are capturing the context. And that was a good comment someone did. If you go to the middleware, we have, sorry, I'm coming. That MCTX resolver. So this is the one here where we resolve the CTX. And the way that we have added our business, the CTX, is if you look at it last time, sorry. And we call this function here, resolve. So we get the path, okay? And then we call the CTX resolve. And then the CTX resolve here, what it does is look at the token, validate the token like before. That didn't change. We validate token to make sure it's fine, everything's fine. We update the token because that is our strategy. And so every request generates a new token. And then we print the path over there, such as if you go to your server, this is all the path. I don't even use, I didn't run this guy. But if I run the quick dev again, my server is going to be updated here with a path. So I don't use debug because I want them to stand out and I want to remove them. Those guys are just stuff. So we can see that we have all of the known, at some point we should have, yeah. So this one has the org ID, because the other one, we didn't care because both works, yeah. So I didn't kill the other one because I want to make sure that I'm not breaking anything else. Yeah? But at some point I'm going to I have to make the jump. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know, guys, if this kind of content you want to do, if it's a pace, if you want me to go faster, if whatever. Yeah, I mean, I'm here for you. So the thing I'm saying is we do the capture API or capture there. We have the auth. So the trick that I have right now is that I've designed, if you look at my function over there, I've designed that to say this resolver must never fail, but rather capture the potential auth error and put it in the request extension CTX result. Okay, that's fair. This way, it won't prevent the downstream middleware to be executed and will still capture the error, the appropriate middleware to do the require CTX and stuff, or handle to get the appropriate information. Okay, so what we are going to do, we're going to follow that because that is something that I thought through before. So I want to make sure I'm not breaking that right now because I thought I had it more before. So I might change the strategy, but I think this one is a good one because otherwise if it breaks, then you cannot handle it after. So this guy, it's the goal of this. And so we can see what he does here is to put the insert of the result. Yeah. So if we go to CTX result, this is a result of the CTXW with the CTX ext error. Okay. So that is a good one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to follow this pattern. And here is where we do the extract kind of things. And, oh, this is perfect. Okay. This is perfect. I'm just thinking. Okay. This is perfect. So what we have here is we can have this guy throwing back an error. So when we extract the org ID stuff, there's two types of error. One is missing, is not there. So we can throw an error. The second one is not a number. We can throw an error. The third one, the user doesn't have access to the org. We throw an error. So three errors, and it can be two. Yeah, one which is missing or invalid. And we're going to have the three. Yeah, so these three guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our, so in my Rust 10x, I have a pretty cool thing here, which is, I'm showing you here all my tricks. If I go to shortcut, and I go to error. Yeah, I have these things here, yeah, which is in my Rust 10x plugin, is an extension, it's Rust 10x. I have open error RS. And that follow my my best practice. Because one thing which is a pain is to go and fish your error, watch it. Who is the error.rs of this guy? So my best practices is to say, you go back up, and if there is error, then, or like you go back to the error folder and everything, this one is the closest. So when I do that, boom, I do a Command Control E, and that will show me the error, which happened in this case to be as a full root. So that is a pretty cool one because it's going to find me the error wherever I want. So often I have this pattern where I have the error. By the way, I don't think it goes back to, if I had error in the folder, it wouldn't have worked, I think. But typically I always have that. But that I can change, or you can change to have your own function. So now I have this. So the way I do it usually when I code is I take this one on the right side, and this is not logging. This is auth business. It's interesting. Yeah, so the lib auth doesn't have the middleware auth. Is just the auth, which is from a key token generation kind of stuff. The middleware auth, that is where I have the auth. There will be a point here of moving the middleware. Oh, but look at that. No, I'm changing. It's already under libweb, which is perfect. Because I want to have this libweb, I want to reuse it on other servers. I don't want to implement it in different places. So this is perfect. And so this is why we have it there. So now we are on the error of this guy, of the libweb, which is good. And I think we have login, we have CTX error, extractors, and we have the pass-through, which is a pass-through. You always want to try to avoid them. They are PC guy. And so we're going to have our one here, which is going to be CTX error. Let's see what we have there. Oh, this is where my plugin has a limitation here. I had something. This is important. This one has a very special one where I have the error there. So sometimes that is one of my patterns, obviously, which is not caught in my plugin. I don't know if I'm going to cut this one, to catch this one. So that allows me to have an error only for that, and then I wrap it above. So that is a good pattern as well. So token not in cookie, token wrong format, user not found, model not found, stuff. So what we're going to do is org ID missing. The thing that I'm asking in my head is, should I show the path? Will it be useful to show the path? And it might be. Because perhaps they did orgs and they misspelled it, or they put orgs with a S or something like that. So I'm going to have things. And here's the thing, I do path because it's not clear that org ID missing, if it's a tuple, that the string will be a path. And the goal here is I don't need to do I don't need to give them a name to display them in a nice way because it's server side. So I'm going to have to serialize them anyway. So this is why I want my struct, my variant, to be fully explicit. It doesn't have to be English. It has to be clear. There's a nuance, which fortunately I understand too much. Org ID missing, path, and then we have the org ID, not number. And then here we can just put string perhaps, and that will put the number, the org ID, the things that we had it. And then the other one is user So the thing I'm thinking is I like to have sometimes some sort of symmetry, such as everything is namespace. I don't know if it's good or not, but org ID, no access. And then here I will do a I64. So that will be the org ID, and that will be the org ID. I don't need to capture the user because in my request log, that will be captured. No, it won't be because it will fail our authentication. So this kind of thing is why when you design stuff, you want to take your time and really think about how it's going to look like in your request log line. So the org ID is to say, hey, if it's the org ID has access, I'm not going to know which user it is. So user ID, I64, and then we have an org ID, I64. So that is what we're going to have. Press save, should be friendly. And I'm just going to add that from, so I'm going to remove this one. I don't need to have that, but that's fine. Okay. So at this point, I should have the org ID because if I don't have it, it will complain later. The user ID, I mean. And then at this point, I should have a number, which might be a stuff. The thing I'm thinking, I'm sorry, the thing I'm thinking is, do we have to capture if the org ID is not valid? And right now, I'm going to say yes. Okay, so I'm going to do these 4 guys. And I'm going to do it there. And I don't want to have it I like to have my CTX resolve relatively clean like that. So I don't want to put it too much over there. That means that I need to have the extract so that is, I'm going to rename that. So I start with support here, but in fact I had more. And then after I like to categorize the things. So here I'm going to have the org management kind of things or org validation. I'm going to keep this guy because this guy is good, clean and simple. Then I can simplify it, I can do stuff. And then eventually I might change the signature if we wanted to have it from Axum. Axum does this kind of thing, so we can almost have that as an instructor of path. But right now I'm doing like that. I'm okay like that. And then I'm going to do a FN. And I'm going to do, so this is, I'm going to replace, I want this one to take I'm thinking here is we're not going to have all the data we want here, but whatever. Okay, let's do implement it like that. So we're going to do FN and we're going to do extract. You're still good, guys. I want to make sure that everybody is what you want to have as content. So we're going to say, I'm not creative right now with a name, so I'm going to do process stuff. I'm going to have the model manager. My Copilot doesn't It's not really good. Model manager. Oh, okay. No, it's not at all what I want. And I might want to have it async, this guy. Sorry, I'm going up and back and forth here. So I might have to have async. And that might need on. I'm going to start with a reference and then we'll see. And then we have the path, which is a full path. And that is str. And that will return a result. And that will not return a result like that. Because if you look at this guy, it returns a CTX result. That's why I have this guy. I have a type alias. So CTX, the name might update result. There will be an argument to say result of CTX error, but it's fine. Actually, I don't like that. No. Yeah, we're going to, sorry about that. Now it's going to get tricky here. So this is where, I'm like, so I'm going to have core, result. Because the result that I have on top, I think, sorry, hopla. The result that I have on top is a crate result. Okay, so that is the thing on my pattern. So here we are really on the corner case of my pattern. It's pretty cool actually, but is in this case, I want to have control of my error here. And so I want to have I64 and I want the CTX error, this guy. Now I'm going to be happy because if I do a process org ID, and actually I'm going to do that for now. For now, I'm going to do that, but things can change. So I'm going to do that. And the goal here is that I want to have everything done, such as CTX, user ID, and org ID needs to be immutable. Nobody can change it down the road. That is super critical, because you don't want to have a bug later where we got lazy and we say, hey, let's do that for now, we'll change it later, because that is the beginning of the end. So that's the strategy, Thank you for the feedback. All the thoughts, the concept are very helpful. Thanks. Just need to follow to grasp the stuff. Okay, cool. This is awesome. So, and that is, I think, the right value. I hope that I can have. First of all, you are always there, you guys. So you're awesome. And I hope even the ones that are watching the thing, the live stream members that are watching this that couldn't be here live, hopefully you like this approach. If you want something, I won't take anything bad. If you want something more prepared and hashed beforehand, I can do that as well. I think the reasoning of how to think about production consideration is as important as, and I don't have all of them, but at least this is as important as doing production coding, because otherwise it's important to learn about the skills, because often they all come back, all the thinking come back all the time. And here I'm implementing the org. I'm not going to be happy how it's not going to be the final version here. So it's a step approach here where I'm going to get closer to the ideal case that I want. So process stuff. So this is where I'm going to do all of the things. So now on this guy, I can do a process org ID. And I can do a question mark. That should be okay. Oh, I'm sorry. And then I have a reference of mm. And then actually I have, because it's a sync, I need to have that. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. So that's pretty cool. So now I have, and this is what I want there. And then there's an error which is clean, which is this CTX error. So that's why I have these kind of things. So now the trick is that I could say this guy should return. If it's none, okay, I'm thinking here. I'm thinking how to do a step, because otherwise I'm going to break. Otherwise I'm going to break everything, yeah. So I need to make sure that I'm not breaking things. So in a way, in many ways, this guy is almost too good, because we are losing. What are we losing? We are losing. I'm going to back to my, not a number. So my problem here is I want this validate stuff to here's the thing I'm thinking is I want this libauth, this MW auth to work if, okay, this one is a thing. I want it to work because sometime we're going to have an API, which is API orgs, because we need multiple orgs API as well. And I'm not sure I want, at this function, I don't want to fail, but I want to have the distinction to say if it's an API org business, then that needs to be valid. But if it's an API orgs, then I don't care. So that is the things, yeah? So I'm going to do something very dirty. Don't shoot the messenger, but it's going to add the values that I want. So let's go back here to that. Well, I'm starting to get good at that. And so what I'm going to do is, because what I wanted to say, don't try that, to do, make it more elegant. It's not elegant. You're going to understand. If multi orgs, then okay, to not have orgs. So far, so good. So if we say if path starts start with API orgs slash, and I don't need to worry too much about the rest. I'm going to keep it flexible. Return none. Return okay none. And that is going to be, okay, so I'm sorry here. I'm sorry. So I don't like this guy here. It's adding me. I'm trying to be too smart. So I'm going to write it like that. And then I'm going to do a T like that. And that will complain somewhere, because I don't like it to have this weirdo stuff. So now I can go there, go to complain here, which is fair enough. And so that will return a CTXW. I was trying to be too cute below, yeah? So this is good. And then this one now, I'm sorry, that could be just a CTX. Now I'm happier because it matched to the rest. It's just that this error is a special error and so match with my platform. So the way I had it before was not good. So this one is good. And now I can have this process org, and that means that I'm going to have that as a result, and that would be a CTX EXT result. By the way, there's a cool thing. I don't know if I think what I'm going to do for the live stream members, guys, because it's awesome. I really like this group. There's a little videos that might not warrant a live, but that might be good. For example, there were a very good comment at some point about the CTXW. You know, I have this wrapper stuff for CTXW because the problem is we have, this one is Axum, the CTX is there, but we don't want the libcore to know about the web, so we don't have it. And so we have to have the CTXW, which is a wrapper guy. So this is why we have it, because it's different things and I cannot implement. That is the orphan rule. Another option is to have the libcore because the libcore has a CTX, but it doesn't have, I don't want to have it Axum. I want to keep it core because sometimes it's not about web. It might be about getting data somewhere or whatever. So the other option is to have a feature. Yeah, here we have the feature with actually it's stuff, yeah. And I will say with Axum, and we can even scope it here, extractor. And then, so at least in the feature name, I extract it, even if then I will implement Axum anyway. And then I will say Axum. Yeah, you cannot really go only as the extractor, I think, but I will get the Axum like that. And the nice thing about that is when you import it in the libweb, I'm not going to do that now, but I will do that, and I might do that. I don't know. I don't want to bug. This is not a public stuff. I don't know. So, but I will do it, and then here I will do it. Sorry, I'm being slow here. There's a feature I don't use in libweb. But there's a feature sometime where I use on stuff, where you use a feature and you say, hey, I want to use that feature. So this is a way I will use a feature of, I don't have here, but I don't remember. I think I have this pattern somewhere. Yeah, but I will use something like that, yeah, where I will feature stuff. So now what I will do in my libweb, I say, hey, I want the core, but I want the features equal with Axum extractor. And this way, I can implement the Axum stuff. I will have, anyway, I don't want to go too deep there, but I will implement it. So I need to do a video or perhaps a live, and I just give it for you guys. But I don't want to do a schedule on this one, but this one will be a cool one. Yeah, because it's another approach, and it removes the wrapper everywhere. So what you want all the time, my architecture approach all the time is to keep the parts smart at one thing, dumb at everything. And that works for everything, for libs, for modules, for services, for systems, for everything. Now, in this case, I didn't want core to learn stuff, but now I'm adding complexity everywhere with this wrapper business. So it might be better to just have, get rid of it, yeah, of the wrapper. But this is almost like a preference stuff. I'm almost spending too much time on that. But anyway, on this one, I do an OK known, which is good. Now, if I have org, and this is not a number, this is not good. So I think what we have is so I'm sorry here. Hopefully this is okay. You don't see the line here, but there is a line. I don't see it even because I don't know if you can style it. But what we want to return is not a number or missing or... So I cannot really, and I don't need to, yeah. I'm going to say, you know what? Org ID invalid. Sorry. So this one, org ID invalid, because I don't know. I'm happy with my regex right now. So I don't know if it's because it's not a number or because it's not there or stuff. It's hard to know because we don't have the stuff. So, and I don't need to be fancy because in fact, what is going to happen is if that is the case, which is there, we are going to say error, and we're going to do our CTX error. Error. Let's see if the copilot invalid ID. I could have done better, no? Come on. I'm trying. I did the autocomplete. This stuff is not how people code with the whole Devin stuff. Path, and then I will go, sorry. Now it kind of break me the whole thing. Sometimes I'm not sure it's saving me much time. And then I do a pass to string. Can I do that? And then this one is parse. Well, that should be okay, yeah? Can I fail here? That should be a number anyway. I mean, it's not giving me a number because the way regex works, but it should be okay. But I'm not sure, and I never use unwrap. And that is something I don't. So sorry, I'm thinking here. What we want is to say if it's wrong or whatever. So if the parse fail, I would like to do the same error as here. And I'm trying to not have to repeat it. So that I want to have an elegant way of not repeating it. So if some stuff, that I don't care, this one I care. So if I have this guy, yeah, I don't think I can, I don't know. So I do a parse. Okay, it's going to come. It's going. Okay, I get it. I think I got it. At least I don't want to repeat this error twice. So if the capture works, we have the things, we need to do some work. And then we do a known. And then we do let org. And then we do a org ID. So that is the option of stuff. And we do a map. No, it's OK or. OK or else, because we don't want to create the things if we don't need to. And we're going to do, because there is an allocation here, so we don't want to do it all the time. And I'm going to do that. Because that works. Or I can do that probably. Boom. Oh, it compiles. Well, the best. Okay, so So this way here, the thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want to repeat this code twice because that's stuff. So this one is a little bit heavy. There might be a cuter way, but that's return a tuple, so then it gets tricky. So this one is good if it's none. So remember, none is okay, yeah? Then okay to return none. Otherwise, must have. Okay, sorry. Must have an org. Okay? Have path. Okay? Now, remember, we want this API, and I don't want the MWS or I don't want two different guys for everybody. We might have APIs we do not want to have APIs. Remember, because sometimes we don't use it. Sometimes we just use the API RPC. So this is just temporary, yeah? Because we need to make sure that when it's the RPC stuff, it works. Otherwise, all our example is going to break. So this is the things, and usually I like to do my little thing here. So this is what I search before commit. Now this one I might commit it because we might not do it today, and I want you to be able to goof around with the code that we did. Yeah, so might not put that, but that will be the goal here. So in this case, it's okay to return null, but later we should just have this or that format, and then that's it. Yeah. So that is the way that we want it to work for now. And if I do things, libcore failed to load. Okay, I think I changed something in libcore that I shouldn't have changed. Oh yeah. And then now I have that. This one is complaining. Okay, that's fair. So okay, or what am I returning? Option stuff. So what I do here, there's something I missed, a silly stuff. It's no big deal. I have 64. Oh yeah. So I don't need that. I need, yeah, I need to wrap it. And so I would do something like that. At this point, we must have org ID. Okay. And then org and sum org ID. So now we're happy. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I'm being silly here. There's something I'm... Oh, sorry about that. I'll double wrap it. Okay, so that's good. And now I can have my question mark there. And now it works. Okay, so far so good. So that this one is good, but there's another guy here that complains somewhere. This is this one, which is normal. And then I do a CTX W. Okay, that's pretty good. Starting to take shape. And then okay, so we go to our server, everything has been compiled, it runs. So again, here we're not like running it. I go to my quick dev. Go to my quick dev that I pinned there, that's why I pin it. And then I press save. And it's funny because it's good. Request error. So this is pretty cool. Complete message. This is weird here. There's something weird on the error side that will solve it later. And then we should have the thing on the back end. We get staff, runtime, panic at. Oh, wow. Panic? Oh, no, I have a to-do. Sorry, guy. I think I have a to-do. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So think right now. Okay, I'm sorry. That was silly. So it's fine. I need to think about something here. I shouldn't have gotten this. But I need to think about when the thing crash. So when it doesn't crash and the error kind of things, but when it panics, it would be a nice to have to not have this like cryptic stuff. But we can do that. So right now, we're going to pass the MM. No, we're not going to pass the MM. We're just going to pass the path. And so the MM right now is not used. And I don't know why it doesn't complain. Oh yeah, because I think we turned the complaining off. And then that's it. And actually, I think we need to do, this is not good, yeah? Why it doesn't complain? Oh yeah, extract ID doesn't have to be async. So when you don't need to make async, don't make it async, okay? So now we restarted the server, we go to, oh no, what do I do? We go to the quick dev, we are going to this guy, and we press save. And it's complaining. Okay, it's part of the deal, I guess. So we should have the full error now, no host duration, lag, Oracle, invalid path, RPC. Why? I thought that /API, okay. I thought I covered this guy. Remember, this is what I thought I covered. Okay, none. Oh. There's no slash here. Press save. Other things. Oh, let me. So we're going to test something else here. I'm sorry. And I would do that if I were alone anyway. But I'm going to go there and I'm going to say, this one works. I go to the quick dev, it's going to be kaboom. So I have the error on the server side, which is good, which is what we want. So we'll go to the service log or whatever, and we'll have that. And it's a request log line. So it has a whole context and stuff, and it's not a tracing phishing exercise. And then you go to quick dev here, and cool. No value found. JSON pointer. That is okay. Error. So that is okay because that's my test, so it doesn't find, I don't care. But what I want to check is this guy. And it doesn't give much information. This is what we need. So this is super important. And in the Rust web app, there's that in place. Do not pass through your error back to the client. I think you guys know that. Yeah. So the thing I want here, there's no information to be given to say, hey, you have no auth. I'm not going to tell you why you have no auth. You just have no auth. Get your act together. So it's important to not give too much information because otherwise people can probe. Oh, does org ID 100 exist? The 2000 exist? Or does this API exist? So the least you give information, moreover for unauthenticated users, the better. Once a user is in, you don't give secret or SQL or whatever information, but you can give a little bit more, because they pass one barrier, so it's okay. But when it's not authenticated, don't be nice. They are most of them, if you have a successful staff, a lot of requests, they are not friendly requests. So we have to be very careful about what we give when people are not authenticated. And so that has worked very well. So I'm very happy. The only thing here is when the whole thing crashed, I need to think, but usually I shouldn't have to do unwrap. So that should be a really corner case. So it's cool. I do that. Press this to save that. And then I go back there. That I should have my debug print over there. Boom, 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 log off. So if I go to log off, it looks pretty good. Everything is blue. Everything is good. Go to the quick dev and everything is good. So now if I go to my server and I go some 100, okay? So I have the 100. So I think it will be good. I think this session will be good. The next one that I want to do, so here are the things. And if you want, guys, I'm going to push this branch and I'm going to rename it not next. I'm going to rename this branch live/org. And the goal of live is not necessarily, remember what I was saying? Git log. This usually I squash them. This is my thing. And use your own taxonomy, it doesn't matter. But the thing I like is to start with one characters and I have dot for minor, uptick for enhancement and everything. And just to give a cue, I'm not going to be too dogmatic about it, but I'm trying to have the commit in a concise way to give some good information. So here's work in progress. It's about the org, a little bit of information, okay? And then this one is the same. Typically, these guys, I'm going to merge it. There's no reason why I'm going to pollute the dev branch or whatever with all this like cooking stuff, yeah? But I think it could be cool, and I'm still learning about the best format for you and for this community here, and for everybody that is watching after. Please add comment below to any feedback is good feedback, yeah? But the thing I was thinking about is, hey, it might be good to have a live, which eventually I might delete. So if people watch that in a month or 2 months, the branch might not be there anymore, or might be there, I don't know. But at least you see the progress. Yeah, I might keep it there. Yeah, so at least you see the progress of the stuff. Yeah? So this is what I'm thinking about. And I'm going to do a search. And one thing I'm going to remove is these guys. That I don't like to put that in commit. And that works. And I'm going to do git c work in progress org, and then we added a path validation. Okay, this is what we do, the org path validation. And then it's a note for myself. So this, beside yourself, there's two types of developers. There's your team developers, and there's your future self. Your future self is like another developer. So you want to give hint to your future self, such as your future self is happy and can find his duck. Yeah. And so in this case, because you might know the stuff. So we say, okay, we did the org path validation, not DB yet. And still. a little bit long for a staff. There's an argument to say, sometimes people say, okay, we can do that. We'll do that by the book in a way, I guess. Can they commit AM? No, A. Then I do that guy, and then I will put CTD. Sometimes CTD it's continue or whatever, and not DB validation yet, and still legacy, and legacy API still work. API RPC still active. Actually, I will say something like that. Sorry. Validation, and I will say, I will actually give orgs I'll give that. That is a good cue for myself later. Boom. Git log. Okay, now git switch create. That is what an alias I have. And I'm going to do live org. And then the question is, thinking in my head, because I want them to be, because otherwise it's going to be super hard. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to, it's too complicated. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, GPO, I never remember the stuff, but then when I do a GPO, it tells me that. No, I want to do cooler. I can be cooler than that. Git SC JC live orgs. Sorry, a little bit of branding is always good. And then I'm going to put that JC live org. Boom, you should have it. Git branch A. I'm going to do some cleaning here. This one, we don't need it anymore. Git branch D. Any question, a good time to ask right now? I think we're going to end the stream here. So I think this is pretty good. So you have the branch over there. I will try to put it the link and everything. And hopefully this session was good. Hopefully this session is going to also be good for members that are looking that after. Members that are looking that after, please feel free to send feedback about, if you want to have more diagram, more concept, more code, more prepared code, or mix and match, or whatever. Let me know. I'm more than happy to, adapt to this kind of thing. So I think 2025, I really want to give a shot to this program. I think it could be awesome. I'm going to use this blueprint to go. So it's going to be a lot of things I'm going to add. So I'm trying to have a very special community with the live stream members, and also to start doing a lot of lives for public that will then get for you only, and then some perhaps public only or whatever. Any question, feel free. And then I think it's stuff. So again, this branch might be disconnected for the main at some point, because at some point when I'm going to be happy, I'm going to scratch it. So this is why I'm being very careful about creating it in a way that, like for example, the features that I want to add, like the feature about the core CTX, I'm not going to do it because I want to go to a good point where at least we validate the user. And by the way, I want to make sure that the SQL here, we're creating the org. And in fact, next time here, we'll create 2 orgs. It's always good to create 2 guys because you can check, And so we'll create 2 org staff. We'll change a little bit that to have 2 orgs, to have this guy belong to an org. No, yeah, but we didn't do that yet. We don't have, do we have the create DB schema? No. Okay, cool. Next time we'll do that, okay? This is a good thing because now we can validate. That could be a good accept if people want to do something. But the next live will be about creating the org user table. So maybe user_org, that will be the schema will go. And then we'll do the validation. We'll create the user, we'll make sure it does, and then we'll make sure that the user belongs to the thing. Okay, so hope it was good. Feel free to send feedback in the comment of these videos or in Discord or whatever in the next post. Make sure you vote, even the people that was not there, of what you want. I always try to do the poll. Since everybody wants to do the Rust web app, which is cool, the thing I will probably do is, like I did, I think this time, doing a couple of items in my polling of what I think the different topic within the Rust web app, and then a couple of other topics, and then people can vote. Okay, until next one, thanks a lot. Davizero and Mushli. I don't know how to pronounce your name. One of these days you need to spell it for me, but thanks a lot, and thanks for everybody else. And until next one, happy coding.